people who have never talked to a woman trying to give other people advice on how to get women, and they're just stupid. That's just the truth.
For men, today's standards of muscularity are fucking obscene.
We used to aspire to be like Brad Pitt from Fight Club, and now because of this incessant drive of consumer capitalism, this incessant permeation of our brains subconsciously with social media algorithms.
Physique inflation is very real.
And it seems to be happening at an accelerating rate.
And fitness enthusiasts are concerned.
We are led like sheep into the slaughter to ever more muscular and lean physiques.
To the point where a great physique 10 years ago can be considered average or even bad by today's standards.
Mike Chang, Scott Herman, Jeff Nippard, their natural status used to be perceived as highly questionable. Today, people are calling them average.
Follow the science-based guys. Why is it that you remain so mediocre, yet you know so much?
I always find that so interesting with this fucking guy. I think Jeff did press charges, right? For those who don't know, he attacked Jeff Nippard unprompted because Jeff made a video responding to this and calling Natty guys mediocre. Meanwhile, this guy I'm pretty sure is on juice and Jeff isn't, so of course he's gonna be quote unquote mediocre.
So mediocre, yet you know so much.
A shift we can see in Baywatch, Marvel movies, amongst modern superheroes, reality TV shows, and suspiciously muscular Netflix teenagers.
Can you rate this one?
Suspicious.
Can't see him.
That pisses me off so much. This is literally on steroids. Has been training since what? The teenager? He's like 20, probably 26 or something here. I don't know. It pisses me off so much that people seriously think that this is a dad bod of any sort.
Can't see him. Oh.
What is wrong with you? You think this is a dad bod? Have you seen what most dads actually look like in the real world?
Experts are worried. It's an issue that's trickling down from the bodybuilding world. An illusion driving many to shortcuts.
Hot take, but I think guys being a little overweight like this is attractive. What?
Male body dysmorphia is on track to overtake female body dysmorphia within about 2 decades.
So why are experts worried?
That's 17.
Get a lot worse. And how did we end up in this position?
Is that what a man looks like?
Fight Club was a pivotal film on the turn of the century. People wanted to look like this. Impressive, but also realistic.
Seriously? It's like you're photoshopped.
Back then, performance enhancers carried a heavy stigma.
Take steroids and eventually everyone will see you for what you really are. A fake, a fraud, an asterisk.
But in bodybuilding, they became essential. Each year, competitors pushed to get bigger and leaner, no matter the cost. From Steve Reeves to Jay Cutler, the look became more extreme. So everyday people turned to Hollywood physiques for inspiration. Hugh Jackman, Chris Evans, Henry Cavill. But the extreme standards of bodybuilding had already begun to trickle into the mainstream.
There comes a day where being average, being mediocre, is just sickening to you.
Video blogs blew up, then Instagram, focusing the attention on the visual. Fitness wasn't just about health anymore, it was about aesthetics. And this marked the rise of the fitness influencer.
And I just want to share my experiences and advice of what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me.
More and more influencers joined the scene, but it was ultimately the most impressive looking.
Oh my god. Bro, for a second I thought this was Ray William Johnson. It's crazy.
Ultimately the most impressive looking, that rose to the top. Genetic outliers, with many suspected of taking shortcuts to get ahead.
Guys like Mike O'Hearn and Simeon Ped, those guys aren't natural, but yet they claim they are, and so they also stand out.
The demand for more impressive physiques reflected in Hollywood. With the remaking of Baywatch.
It's actually so dumb too how shameless people like Mike O'Hearn are. It's seriously trying to claim that he's like 50 something. I mean, good for him that he looks this good, but to try and claim that he's natural. And also the fact that I remember seeing some clip of him saying that he was denying that people who are older eventually have their testosterone like naturally being lowered. But I mean, we've known that for a while, and he fucking tries to deny that for some reason. He'd seriously be ashamed of himself.
Claim they are, and so they also stand out.
The demand for more impressive physiques was reflected in Hollywood. With the remaking of Baywatch and progression of Chris Hemsworth, Zac Efron, and Hugh Jackman. But people began calling actors out for secretive steroid use.
Reporter Greg here, reporting the news. The Rock's lying. Hello, wake up and smell the freaking coffee.
This kindled the demand for humbleness, honesty, and transparency. So a new type of influencer emerged.
I am sick of fake influencers.
But some people started being a little too transparent.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to teach you some steroid maths.
Perhaps normalizing and glorifying steroid usage. It became
Look at
less
this guy.
taboo and more accessible, which led to a sharp rise in young users.
I actually didn't know how bad, because I knew it was bad when I started going to the gym. Like, I've heard of how things are. But then I go to the gym, and the first day that I'm there, I'm looking around and I see like 5 people that are just like, yeah, that person is on steroids. And the sad thing is, they don't even look good. That's the sad thing. Like I don't want to be rude, but it's clear that they're on steroids because they have all of the symptoms. They're red for no reason. They have acne, like horrible acne. It doesn't even look like necessarily that they work out. Like they clearly do in some way. But what it looks like is, it looks like they have like an extra layer of skin, and like their voice is like a full octave deeper than it really should be. Like, it's so bad. There was one guy I saw, he looked good, he looked actually really good, but he had an injection site on the back of his arm and it was bleeding, and he just kept checking himself out in the mirror, like right in front of the dumbbells. I just remember seeing that and just being like, Jesus Christ. He looked like he was 30, which probably means he was like 20. Because steroids do that to you, they make you look older. And hopefully he thinks it's worth it, but I highly doubt it, that he's happy with himself even though he looks really, really good. God knows how long he's going to continue to do that. It just sucks that people go to the gym. Like, I started going to the gym because I wanted to look good, I'm not gonna lie. But I found out that I just like going to the gym. I like lifting weights. And looking at my family, I'm lucky enough that my family, I haven't had like any major deaths. So I have... my grandparents are still in my life, my mom, you know, uncles and everything, everyone's still there, but they're getting older, obviously. So seeing them slow down, like, my mom kind of has a hard time walking, my grandparents can barely walk, a grandfather can't even walk without a walker anymore. And I just look at that and I'm like, I want to have a kid one day. And I do not want to be physically incapable of being there for them. I don't ever want to look the way that they do. No, I mean, not that they look necessarily bad, but they are, again, they're older. I want to be able to go for like hikes in my 70s, you know, in my 80s. So that's why I've been training. It shifted from just wanting to look good to I plan to do this for the rest of my life. And it sucks that so many people are like, yeah, I'm probably not even gonna want to be alive to my 70s, so I'm just gonna look good through my like 20s and 30s. Okay, you're not gonna feel that way when you're having a heart attack at, you know, age 33. So I guess good luck.
That's why I went viral originally in short form, because nobody ever thought about posting videos of them injecting steroids and then working out.
Fucking Toby.
Without a doubt, the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Some influencers began to use Photoshop and camera tricks to stand out.
These aren't the only people in the industry doing this. Check your newsfeed. If you follow a lot of fitness people, I guarantee you will find more that are doing this now that you're made mentally aware of it.
This became such a problem. The Instagram versus reality subreddit gained over 1 million followers, exposing many people for using filters and tricks.
Do I even need to draw the lines to show this is edited?
But what people watched trained the algorithm.
And that guy has the problem, right? Look at his nipples. He has, I think it's called gynecomastia. He has to be on something.
But what people watched trained the algorithm, so social media learned exactly how to keep you scrolling. Now, if you ask ChatGPT for the average male that goes to the gym regularly, you're presented with this.
There's nothing average about this body for a 35 to 40-year-old male who goes to the gym regularly.
It worked this out from the internet, where edited and optimized bodies aren't rare, they're the standard. Body dysmorphia is becoming a cultural aesthetic as opposed to a mental health issue. To many, natural doesn't even look normal anymore, as highlighted by the recent trend, showing long-time lifters revealing their physiques in natural light, only to face brutal criticism. This is what 8 years of training looks like, achievable in 1 year. This is 13 years.
You guys are so stupid.
13 years. You can easily achieve this in 2 to 3 years.
Says someone that probably has never even gone to the gym. I mean, I can't tell, like, I'm assuming this is one of them. Like, I'm guessing it's the one on the left here. I mean, I hate to break it to that guy, but chances are, yeah, he has never even gone to the gym. If you seriously think that there's achievable, like, this level of definition and stuff, this level of muscle in 2 to 3 years, you've never set foot at a gym, probably never at a park, probably never at the beach. You don't go out. You are seriously, like, you are just seriously stupid. You are actually, like, I don't even care about being mean. You are actually stupid if you think that that's achievable in 2 to 3 years.
We're talking about bodybuilders here.
I personally don't think it's surprising that so many younger people are taking a metric fuckload of anabolic steroids.
No.
Yeah, or some worry about physique inflation. Others argue we're glorifying obesity. To understand what's really happening,
kind of are.
We need to look at the data. Is the average man actually getting fitter? The average American is 5'9", 200 pounds, with a 40.5-inch waist, putting body fat between 20 and 30%. Obesity is on the rise. The average American eats around 3,500 calories a day and takes just 4,800 steps. No wonder health span is falling. In fact, 1 in 4 people can't do a full squat, and 1 in 3 can't manage a single push-up, according to a UK fitness report. But the average fitness enthusiast is likely more muscular, thanks to better information, equipment, and resources.
Yeah.
A good thing, since the fitness industry has made things easier. If we look to powerlifting data, the average bench is somewhere around 250 to 300 pounds, squat 350 to 400,
that's pretty good.
and deadlift 425 to 475 pounds. But those are trained competitive athletes. It's like comparing your reading speed to someone in a book club. The average 5K time for men, around 29 minutes, and that's only amongst those fit enough to sign up to a race. Here's what the average American man looked like in 2011. The truth is, the average person looks nothing like the physiques that we're constantly being shown online. It's becoming rarer for people to maintain a healthy weight, and it's this stark, widening contrast that experts are worried about.
How old are you?
16.
16? But are you out of your knowledge?
Jesus.
Wow, I respect the honesty,
He
bro.
looks 25.
Today, there's more teenagers doing steroids than ever before. People who've barely been training, jumping straight to enhancements.
There's nothing respectable about taking gear at 16 years old.
Yeah.
Period.
The rise of people using steroids while claiming they're natural, or just eat chicken, broccoli, and rice, is fueling unrealistic expectations, leading many to give up on their fitness routines altogether. Reckless.
Yeah, this reminds me so much. Like back, I think, how old must I have been? I think I must have been like 16 or something. I don't know when V-Shred like first popped up, but he would use like Brad Pitt as an example. He would say things like, actors have to cut out quote unquote the fluff. They just do the thing that they know works. Because they have to get from being out of shape to in shape in 6 months, because that's like the time of their next role or whatever. The fluff, cutting out the fluff means going on steroids. Like he didn't want to say it, I guess, and he was obviously a grifter. He's still a grifter, I'm pretty sure. I think, assuming he's still around. But yeah, cutting out the fluff means going on steroids. There's literally no one that can put on this amount of muscle in 6 months if they're like skinny. Like, to put it into perspective, this is like, there's some actors that put on like what, 30 pounds of muscle? Let's say within even like 6 months, like 6 to 12 months, 30 pounds of muscle. You are lucky if you can put on 10 pounds of muscle in a year as a natural. Put it into perspective, Ronnie Coleman, and I think also Jay Cutler, are 2 of the best ever bodybuilders to have existed. And their genetics let them pack on like 50 pounds of muscle within 1 year. So you mean to tell me that Brad Pitt, is this Brad Pitt? No, I don't forget who his name is. Is he Brad Pitt? I don't know any names off the top of my head, I don't know why. This guy, if he goes from being out of shape or somewhat out of shape to this in 6 months, he has better genetics than Ronnie Coleman. But he's not even an outlier. This happens all the time in Hollywood, where some dude who didn't do any sort of training gains randomly 30 pounds of muscle in like 6 months, like 20 to 30, maybe even more. You mean to tell me that they have better genetics? These people in Hollywood just happen to have better genetics than Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler? There's absolutely no way. It's a joke that these people don't just confess. I mean, I guess they can't. They probably contractually are not allowed to. And steroids are illegal, but as far as I'm aware, no one is like hunting down people who are going on steroids, you know, admitting to going on steroids, as far as I'm aware. So.
Rice is fueling unrealistic expectations, leading many to give up on their fitness routines altogether. Reckless performance-enhancing drug use and poor mental health. Perhaps a greater issue is not physique inflation, but deflation.
Day one in
need
gym.
TRT or steroids to gain a bit of muscle and look good. Patience is a dying art on social media.
For all the years up to this point, what people focused on was nutrition, workout routines. There is such a disturbing trend right now where those search terms and even those interests have been replaced by TRT, SARMs, peptides, Ozempic.
A recent study found that the fitness advice given by the most followed fitness influencers is often either harmful or lacks credibility. Hardly a surprise when the most extreme stuff rises to the top. Fitness is becoming less about health and more about performance art. A hyper-reality crafted to...
This is the kind of thing that pisses me off too, because I remember when I was first trying to start getting in shape. I don't know who the video, I don't even want to call them out necessarily, because I'm sure they're like a decent person, but there was a video that I saw. I feel like I mentioned this on stream before, but I can't remember. There was a person that I saw who was like, if you want a big chest like mine, and he had like a good chest, right? He's obviously been training for several years. If you want a big chest like mine, this is what you do. And he did like a 15 minutes straight of different push-ups. And it's like, if you're out of shape, you're not gonna do 15 minutes of push-ups straight. Even if you're in shape, you're not gonna do 15 minutes of push-ups straight. Like, unless you specifically train to do that kind of activity, you're not gonna do it. And it's still, I would still imagine it takes like a year probably to get to that level of consistency. And assuming you even have good form, which he didn't, he was just, yeah, they basically weren't really even good push-ups, but people just straight up lie about what they're doing. This is, listen, let's say even say that this guy, I forget what his name is, Ashton Hall. Let's say that he even does any of this. He did not get to the point that he is now by doing this. This is what he does now because it works for him. Let's say, again, assuming he does it now because he likes it, because he feels it actually does something for him. But this isn't how he got here. You don't start out going to the gym like 6 days out of the week. Like, you probably start with like 2, or even just 1 if you really can't do it that much. Like 1 or 2, ideally 2, and then move up to 3 if you can. You don't start off, you know, it's like trying to say, I want to get good at like being comfortable with heights, so you went skydiving. How about you just like go up on a hill somewhere? Why would you go to the immediate extreme thing? It just makes no sense.
Views. This is why people are suggesting that fitness influencers are a plague on getting fit. It's why what Martin Birkin coined f***arounditis is still such a problem. The tendency to avoid consistent effort and focus on unproductive activities, resulting in a lack of progress towards a goal. It's not one person's fault, but the deeper consequence of fitness social media. If you're not shredded, you have a dad bod. Bear in mind, many of these people are Hollywood superheroes, some of which have probably taken steroids. And this is literally Superman. However, a large reason these sort of posts go viral.
And this is literally all you want: a little facial hair, a little muscle, a little fat, a little muscle. I can give you maybe a little fat on like maybe his stomach, which we can't see. I think I've seen the full photo of this. He's not shredded per se, but he is obviously lean. When we talk about shredded, we're talking about like being able to see his veins on his stomach and stuff. He's not that point. And it's like, it's that simple. Okay, cool. Do you look like the female equivalent of this? Probably not. You don't get to make this demand unless you actually have something similar.
Viral is because they're such wild takes. Regardless, there's a clear rising pressure for men. A study found 22% of men, aged 18 to 24, show signs of muscle.
Wait, what did that say? Dad bod? Yeah, this is still not a dad bod. He has a tiny bit of a stomach, but this is still not a dad bod.
Around 22% of men, aged 18 to 24, show signs of muscle-focused eating disorders. Even the godfather of American fitness grew concerned about the mental benefits of exercise being neglected, as the television was first invented.
Well, this is what I think. People have gotten so far away from the natural way they should be living that they have lost the ability to be happy anymore. Because you cannot separate the mind and the body. It's an impossibility. Exercise is not only to make you more beautiful, more glamorous, but the therapeutic value of exercise, how it relieves nervous tension, how it increases your pep, your energy, and your vitality. That's the wonders of exercise.
This is why for my own transformation, I limited the time I spent on social media, and it helped a ton. I didn't end up looking like Ashton Hall, perhaps because I didn't wake up at 3 AM, but I'm no longer built
or
like
take steroids.
because I actually stuck to my routine.
You only fail if you stop.
Gym inflation might be a thing on social media and in comment sections, but in reality, things seem to be heading the other way. Most of the people mocking top-tier physiques or real fitness progress are just online too much, caught up in an echo chamber, inflated by physique inflation. That's why curating your media diet is crucial. Follow people who actually benefit you, not negatively warp your perspective.
The term influence means to have an effect on the character or development of someone. Be mindful of who you follow and be careful of who you let influence you.
Be proud of your own progress, and remember that a vast industry profits.
Wait, what? I can't bench 350. Most people don't even exercise regularly.
Insecurity. In other words, it's best to focus on your own habits, because it's hard to worry about other people's grass being greener when you're more focused on watering your own.
Wow, that ended very abruptly. Yeah, I had to go through quite a bit myself, just trying to get out of the headspace of having to look extremely good. I just want to look healthy. More than anything, I'm just trying to be healthy. I want to be able to live comfortably into old age, and again, eventually be there for the family I want to start one day. It really sucks that people don't see that that's the point of all this. It's also, I feel like more than anything, and this is like no disrespect, a lot of it has to do with the people that are like this hardcore into it. They believe genuinely that women want these physiques, and sometimes they do. I'm not gonna say that they don't, or that they never do. But the harsh reality is, these people who say that this is what women want have never talked to a woman. And I know that because I talk almost exclusively to women in, you know, as far as like my friend circle. And they do not want these sort of things. They just want someone that takes care of themselves and is a decent person. I mean, that's what they want. They don't need you to be shredded. So if you're trying to convince others that you need to be some sort of bodybuilder in order to get girls, you've literally never had a woman in your life. Like, of any sort in your life. Yeah, that's just the truth. So it's like, it's people who have never talked to a woman trying to give other people advice on how to get women, and they're stupid. That's just the truth. It's fine if you want to look better, but don't destroy yourself to look better.